Team, what's happening? We have 10 ways to use a progression on a pistol. We like to call them progressions because you are progressing your way up to the full range of motion pistol or the full range of motion pull-up or push-up, anything along those lines. So check out these 10 options. If you enjoyed this video, if you like the content, please consider subscribing. So you'll see with this first pistol progression, I'm going onto a box. So I sit myself back as controlled as possible. Maybe I can get the box higher or lower depending on my ability. And then I try to drive myself out of the hole. The other progression or variation that you see I do off the box is I slowly go down, kind of like a negative, and then I bring my opposite foot down and stand together. Slowly go down and then stand together. This might be another option if you want to go to the box, but the athlete is still a little bit deconditioned or not strong enough to then press up out off of that single leg. The next progression, you'll see that I'm standing on the box. So from the box, this is going to really help with your mobility and your position. I start to drop down into that pistol, and if I can get full range of motion, great, and drive back out of the hole, even better. Basically, I'm eliminating my foot going into the ground because now I'm on this elevated surface. But if I need a little assistance, you can see that I, again, put my opposite foot down and then stand up with 2 feet. So you're kind of working that eccentric movement, that negative, but also developing the movement pattern of the pistol. A really easy progression that a lot of gyms use would be the pull. So you see here, I line the foot up that I'm squatting with an upright on the rig, and then I just sit back, use my hands to assist me to keep a good position, and use my hands to assist as I stand up. Good option, simple option. People tend to use more hands than they actually do their legs. This one is kind of a sticking point, good for somebody's first or second time doing pistols, but then they should graduate off of this onto something that's a little bit more challenging. On this one, you can see that I set up a band, grab with my hand, let myself drop back down, and then stand tall. This one's infinitely scalable. You can choose the resistance of the band, how high you hook the band. The one common mistake we see is people trying to pull on the band to create tension. That's okay, but then it creates this kind of up and down spring motion, which you see here. You want to avoid that by trying to keep the arm strong and almost like pressing down a little on the band like a lat movement. Not that that's our focus, but that will avoid the kind of pull in and pull out of the spring movement of the band. So this one, plenty of scalability options. Also not as easy as the pull because the band is on a dynamic plane or range of motion. From here, you'll see that I hooked the band under my waist. This one can be a little challenging depending on where the band is. I should have one that's a little bit lower on a bar and I wouldn't get that roll under my hips. But this one gives you that seated assist, and then you can hold the band out in front to kind of make sure it doesn't roll too much as the athlete is standing up and sitting down. Again, infinitely scalable depending on the band you use or the height that you're hooking it up to the rig. From here, you'll see a few options on the ground. The first one being standing on your laces. This one, really simple, doesn't correlate too much over to the pistol, but lets somebody feel like they're doing it or working a progression towards it. Again, this one will be for a beginner who hasn't really experienced the pistol very much. This next one, you hook your foot behind your heel. Surprisingly, you're able to drive a lot of force off that opposite foot and then keep your body pretty stabilized and still get range of motion. All right, this obviously depends on someone's mobility, especially with their ankles and their knees, but we find this to be a great option for people that are almost to the pistol. The next option is called the lace lunge. This is a really good beginner one, especially if they have the strength to drive out of it. Usually when we lunge back, we would drive off our toe, but as you can see in the video, I'm lunging back and my laces are on the floor, and then I can't drive that much power off of that foot, so I have to use a lot of force from my foot that's planted on the ground. Essentially really working into a single leg squat or a pistol. So use the lace lunge for the beginners. We really like that one. From here, we go into plate options. You see, as I pick up the plate and I counterbalance myself, I hold it out in front of me. This really helps with mobility, all right? This is almost like this paired with an ollie shoe really will get somebody who has the strength, but not necessarily the balance, stability, or mobility, a pistol. So as long as they have the strength, try this trick with that counterbalance of that weight out in front. And then you'll see the last progression. We use this one a ton. This opens up the ankle mobility, which is really a hard portion for a lot of people who are attempting a pistol. So elevating that heel, getting up on a plate, and then dropping into a pistol and standing up. Again, if somebody has the strength, this is a great option for them. Hope you enjoyed these 10 progressions. Drop a comment below if you have any questions. Thanks for the support.